Alright, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, what I have behind me is a new project car that I picked up specifically for you guys to see on the channel. But before we get into the car, I do want to give a huge shout out to Drew. He's actually an old high school friend of mine, and funny enough, he's been watching the YouTube series on the Battle Wagon, and he reached out to me and he was like, hey, I have a car that you might be interested in. And one thing led to another, and here it is in my name, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with this. Because as you already know, I do have a few cars in my hoopty fleet right now, and as well as running around working on other cars. So the last thing that I needed was another project car, but of course, when somebody offers you a car, you take it, right? But anyways, shout out to Drew. I linked his Instagram below. Make sure to say hello to him. He's a really cool dude. And let's not waste any more of you guys' time, and let's see what I got. All right, here's the car. It's a 2000 Subaru Legacy GT Limited. In my opinion, it's probably like one of the best looking sedans this Subaru ever made. I really think this thing has aged well. You don't see too many of them on the road. It's not as common as your 2016 Impreza or Crosstreks are nowadays, which is pretty cool. But of course, this isn't a perfect car. As you can see right off the bat, there's a little bit of body damage on the door. I think Drew told me that somebody hit him, just backed into the car, and it chipped off all the paint, so this is beginning to rust. I'm not sure if I want to replace the door completely, or maybe we can do something to just kind of remedy that a little bit in the meantime, because it's not too bad. It's just cosmetic damage at this point. But the biggest part of the damage is up here in the front. Now you could see that the front of the hood got punched in from somebody hitting the car, and it came in contact right here. But I'm not quite sure what's causing the latch to get stuck. And I'm pretty sure either the core support got pushed back or this moved and bent in a way that is not completely making contact. So this will close all the way, but it is an absolute nightmare to get it to pull open. So basically I just kind of have it half open right now just so, you know, we can open the hood and show you guys what's underneath. And I mean, besides that, it's got 147,000 miles on it. And when you get in the interior of the Legacy, you immediately know that you're not in the base model. I mean, I'm surrounded by this wood trim that looks great. It's got heated seats, it's got the moonroof, it's got fog lights in the front, it's got this aftermarket stereo, which is always a nice touch. Plenty of storage to put your things in. And I mean, it's just pretty typical Subaru ergonomics in here. I mean, most of the stuff is just made for functionality. You know, you're not gonna feel like you're in a Mercedes or anything when you're sitting in this car, but it does feel very luxurious, and I am really baffled at how well these leather seats will hug you in. It's not crazy bolstering or anything like the newer cars are, where it's super sporty, but it's definitely comfortable. And I mean, this is a GT, and this is meant to go long distances without getting fatigued. And I mean, this would just feel like an absolute highway cruiser. It's got all the bells and whistles that you can think of for the time. Not gonna go into all the quirks and features, because if you wanna go do that, go check out Doug DeMiro. But I mean, I like the car, and you know, it's gonna serve as a good project. Okay, let's take a look at the engine. And underneath the hood we have a EJ25, or famously known as the 2.5 liter single overhead cam flat 4 engine that Subaru has been making ever since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. You know, this is a great engine, but it is notorious for blowing head gaskets. And that's exactly what happened with this car. So basically, Drew was driving on the highway, and all of a sudden he noticed the car started overheating really bad. And before he knew it, there was a giant cloud of smoke coming from the back of the vehicle, and the head gaskets were toast. So the head gaskets have been replaced in this vehicle, which is a big plus. You know, just one less thing to worry about. And it also has a new radiator. It may not look like it, but since it's super dirty, but this has been replaced pretty recently. And I mean, besides that, mechanically, it runs strong, but it does have one big issue with it right now. Man, this car stinks. So as you heard from the video, this car is really loud. And the reason being is the oxygen sensors are disconnected. And that's basically to free up the air that's trying to flow through, because both of the catalytic converters are plugged up from it blowing a head gasket. Because all that white smoke was coming out and basically clogged up everything through the exhaust system. So right now it sounds like a tractor and it really stinks because of all the smog that's being produced. And it may sound cool in the video, but when you're driving it, it's probably cool for about 5 minutes. I thought since I already pulled the car out that we might as well take it for a spin. This thing is so loud, man. I don't think it's gonna pick up that well on the camera itself, but like I'm pulling out of a church parking lot right now and this lady's walking her dog and looking at me like I'm crazy. But I mean, once you get past the fact that it sounds like a tractor, it drives really nice. I mean, it's very comfortable and very luxurious. I mean, like I said, it's nothing in the realm of like a BMW or a Mercedes of the time, but for what it is, I wouldn't mind eating up the miles in this thing. You know, this would be a great grocery getter and just all around good and bad weather car. I mean, the thing with Subaru's infamous symmetrical four-wheel drive system is the fact that you could basically go anywhere and it's not going to give you any trouble. Now, I will say that this car is going to have much lower of a ground clearance in comparison to something like a Crosstrek or an Impreza, but in return, you get a lower center of gravity, so that means the handling is a little bit nicer, and it just sums up for a very comfy ride. And the suspension is not too stiff or anything, but it does feel pretty rigid. You know, it does feel like if you were going to take it around a corner, it wouldn't be, you know, sloppy and all over the place. I mean, it does feel pretty composed just putting around town. I know I'm not doing anything super fast right now because before I know it, I'm going to be getting pulled over for having way too loud of an exhaust. So let's get back to the shop. And there you have it, the 2002 Subaru Legacy GT project car. But make sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys think we should actually do with this car, because I really don't know if I should keep this thing, enjoy this thing and drive it, or sell it. But it needs to be something in between because my hoopty fleet is growing quicker than my subscriber count. But anyways, thanks for watching and make sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.